Hello everyone. Hope you guys are having a very beautiful day today. Nothing but love, always nothing but love. In this video, I'm gonna talk about what it means to have a spiritual awakening. And most people actually, well, even me including, when I was in my head playing out my personal, who I am, my personal body, my personal life, um, it was about like learning things, like reading the Bible, reading y- um, different spiritual texts, different philosophies, just acquiring a lot of knowledge and wisdom and, making me a better person in a sense also, and very, kinda in a way more compassionate, loving, and conscience. And all that has been a very, very fruitful and nourishing experience, and going through that. But what I really realized was that I was still playing this personal conscience, personal self um, point of view, separate from just being present in pure conscience and being pure awareness, and actually not just learning to be loving from my personal self, but actually learning to be love without the personal self, learning to be in peace, and all these beautiful states, and not be identified anymore as Javi in a good state. There was like almost Javi wasn't here no more, and just this new state came to be the center of like my focal point. And that's when I realized that we all spend our time, and the reason I wanted to make this video is because some people ask, like, what does it mean to spiritually awaken? Like where do you get there? What's the goal? What's the timeline? What's the criteria? What's the steps? How do I achieve nirvana and just meet God, or whatnot? And so many religions out there teaching so many ways, and even people that don't believe in God or anything. So it's just so much out there that people don't really know what it is to have a spiritually awakened. They don't really know, even if sometimes you're young and maybe you're already pure consciousness and you're already pure self, your true self, and you haven't identified with a personal self throughout your life, and you've probably been awake already your whole life, and you just don't know it. You don't have a context. And part was that in me as well. Growing up, I felt like I was raised Catholic, so I was always taught to believe in God, and all the like beautiful things of like compassion and love, and you know, always about us and we, and we're all spiritual energy, like from the get-go, from my first memories. That's what I was getting raised to believe. So it was kind of easy for me to always see the world as like very open and loving, and like, hey, like, I am no threat to you, and I don't feel threatened by you or separate from you. We're all just here in this world, spiritual beings, and souls. And yeah, you identify as this and I identify as that, but you know I always felt like I was you know coming from my heart and not so much from my mind, until the pressures of life, the programs, and you need to survive, and you need to start to use the mind to strategize your survival of this physical body, like everybody else. Everybody has gone through this phase. Jesus, Buddha, everybody. And then here we are, unlearning all that, structure and, mental, intellectual only sense of how we interact with life versus, being your true self, which is pure consciousness that, even though things are going to happen, you'll be able to like be in a higher state to be able to, just remain at peace and understand that nothing in the world out there controls you or has any real effect on you other than you letting it. And, in a very practical way, not in like a, only love and light and never deal with your, shadow or karma or, responsibility to yourself. And, yeah, it just in the end became a more of a state of being. So spirituality is becoming a different way of seeing. You become pure consciousness. You become this other way of looking at this physical reality. And uh, you know the the information you receive from all your senses that make up what this physical world is not biased and filtered through the personal self anymore. That's learning, all these spiritual concepts and all these doing all these practices, but that personal self never really uh, transcends or you know evolves, other than it itself can grow a lot and be very loving and be very compassionate and be very kind and be very like everything that it looks like they've attained like a godly kind of good saintly state, but they're still identified as the personal self is achieving these beautiful states versus just being these beautiful states and letting the state actually be your experience. I hope that's very clear. And yeah, that's really all it is in a nutshell, really. So, if you're going through your spiritual awakening right now, and it's good to learn a lot of stuff, but check in with yourself, check in with your intellectual mind, check in with your, like, are you just picking up information? Are you just learning things? Are you just, and not really like letting it shift your consciousness, and letting it actually like transcend the way you actually see in this moment versus how you used to. That actually helps you and evolves you so that you're able to be more at peace and your life circumstances don't become a distraction. And that doesn't mean you're not, you're still going to deal with the practical things of life, like going to work, eating, all the practical stuff, the everyday activities. But now you're in a state of higher awareness, so that as you're doing these things, you're able to create within the present moment what is actually coming from your heart, and be at your work in with bringing your heart, be in the grocery store as your true self, being wherever it is that you go and entertain yourself, or have whatever fun activities you do as your true self and not as this personal self. So you're still going to be living life every day as like almost what it seems normal, but you're just experiencing it now from your higher self that is just looking at life with so much love, beauty, compassion, and is just able to understand why it's even like that, and not just be like an intellectual, I'm gonna be loving, I'm gonna be kind, I'm gonna da 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 da, and you're just playing out these roles that seem very spiritual. And that's kind of what they label the spiritual ego too, where, you know, you're identified as you, but you're going to church. You're, you know, still you, but you're, you know, donating, and you're volunteering, but it's still, you know, you're still identified with an personal identity separate from, oh, I'm helping you, I'm doing this for you, and, you know, that kind of interaction still happening. So love you guys as always. Thank you for joining me and, you know, being a part of this experience that is so fruitful and unfolding in such a spontaneous way for everybody, because no one can plan how, you know, we're all contributing with our, you know, energy here. So we're all just, you know, in the moment, creating the future. So I love you guys. Blessings. Namaste. Peace be with you. Until the next time, all is love.